you, where we'll be looking at the control flow. The control flow. So, the control flow statement manages the flow of execution in a program, allowing developers to execute code based on conditions or loops. So key statements include the break, continue, and pass, so each with a specific role in controlling loop behavior and execution. Now let's explain what break is. So break can set a loop prematurely, regardless of its condition. So it is used when a specific condition is met and further iteration is unnecessary. So break most times is for code optimization. Now let me give for instance here in practical work. So now let's assume that we have a variable called n, and we have which n holds this list, and this list have a total number of items of four, which are the four, six, this, um 77. Okay, and let's put one more as well. So let's assume that this variable n is assigned this list here. So this list has a total number of items, which is one, two, three, four, five, right? So now let's assume that we have a target variable, which is 77, and we're trying to find this target variable where this 77 is located in where this 77 is located in this list here, right? Where is it located? Is it located in index 0, or is it located in index 1? Is it located in index 2, or is it located in index 3, or is it located in index 4? Now remember that computer is dummy, right? So but we want to pass instruction to the computer in order to help us find where 77 is located in this list. Now what we do here is either we're using a for loop or we're using a while loop to solve this, right? So now for I in range of starting from 0, so I explicitly define this. So implicitly when you say n length of n days, so the interpreter understands that I is starting from 0 down to the length of n. So explicitly I will define it 0 down to length of n, right? So which this means that I is starting from 0 down to the length of n, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is about 5 iterations. So I goes 5 times, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I equal to 1, and I equal to 2, I equal to 3, and I equal to 4, right? So that is what this first instruction means. So now apply a conditional if to find the target number in the list. So if ni is equal to the target, so what happens is print the target number was found in index this. So I have to put a format so that we can be able to see, the computer can be able to see the value inside this string here. Okay, so now what this does is, okay, let me put another print here so that we can be able to understand what happens. So print when I is equal to this. So let me put a format here. Okay, so in the first instance, when I is 0, which is this, when I is 0, then n square bracket I, which is fetching the value in index 0, which is 4. So is 4 equal to 77? This is false, right? So nothing happens when I equal to 0. So when I equal to 1, it fetch the value located in index 1, which is 6. So is 6 equal to 77? So nothing happens. So it goes down to I equal to 2. When I equal to 2, it picks the value located in index 2, which is 5. Is equal to 77? Nothing happens. So it's not equal. Nothing happens. So when I equal to 3, which I equal to 3, the index located in index 3 is 77. So is 77 equal to 77, right? Something happens which is true, right? So this statement is true. So it means that it will return the target 77 was found in index what 3. Now if there's no control flow here, it will still execute I equal to 4. And when I equal to 4, I equal the index located in 4 is 0, right? Is 0 equal to is 0 equal to 77, which is false. So let's run this and see what happens, right? you can see what happens, right? So when I equal to 0, nothing happens. When I equal to 1, nothing happens. When I equal to 2, nothing happens. When I equal to 3, it returns the target 77 was found in index 3. When I equal to 4, nothing happens. Now we can be able to control the flow whereby once we meet our target, right, there's no point running other iterations, just stop. That is when we apply what? The break. So what the break does is to skip this last iteration, right? Because we have already found our number. We have already found our solution, which is when I equal to 3. So when I run this, right, it skips I equal to 4. That is reason for this control. So instead of taking extra time to run other iterations when I found what I'm looking for, right? So all those iterations are not actually necessary. That's why we apply the break, right? So now let's look further. You can see it exit a loop prematurely regardless of its condition. Now, we use when a specific condition is met and further iteration is unnecessary. And that is what we just did. So the next one we'll look at here is continue. Just continue is keep the current iteration and move to the next iteration of the loop. Use when some iterations should be ignored based on a condition, right? So in this one here, there's no point applying the continue here because this code may not allow you may not be able to understand how it works, right? So let's do something here. Now let's assume this is the stuff, right? So let's say now let me just write. So let's assume that if ni is equal to the target, continue, and let's print when I is equal to I, then ni is equal to ni. So let me pass the format here. So let me remove this. So I just want to show you guys what continue we do here. So let's run this and see, right? So what continue does is you can see what continue does, right? When I equal to 0, nothing happens. When I equal to 2, nothing happens. When I equal to 3, right? Nothing happens. When I equal to 3 is not here because y equal to 3, something happens, right? So it skips that result, right? It skips that result and goes down to I equal to 4. So because I equal to 3 has a target, so it skip that. That's what continue does. You can see what happens here, right? Because when I equal to 3, something happens, so it skipped it. That's what it does. I want to show you guys that what happened. So it skipped the result, which was met, right? So what if we use pass? So what if we use pass? What happens is it runs everything when I equal to 0, when I equal to 1, when I equal to 2, when I equal to 3, and when I equal to 4, right? So it runs everything. That is what the pass does. So looking at the PowerPoint slide here, the pass is a placeholder that does nothing when executed. So it's using a scenario where a statement is statically required but no action is needed, right? So often helpful during product development as a placeholder for future code. So you can see the difference between the break, the pass, and the continue. So I urge you guys to practice this so that when the objective questions comes here and then the result is being placed, you can be able to understand what the result will be like, the output will be like. So thank you and God bless you. So if you need anything, right, don't feel free to contact me, right? I'm always there to assist you guys. So in the class, we're going to be explain more of this. I'm going to be using different examples to explain this. Now we have used a for loop to do this. What if we want to use a while loop to do this, right? So to use a while loop, you just need to do is let's say we have a variable called I, which is 0. Then we'll say while I, as long as I is less than the length of n, the loop will go through until I is not less than the length of n. That is when the iteration stops. That's why we're using the while. So while I is less than n, what happens? So if you just put this, right? So it's just same thing. Then at the end, okay, let me just do this. So as long as this is print the target target, which is targets was found in index this. So after that, it increments I plus by 1, right? So what it does is when as if this target is not met, if the result is not met, it will always increment I equal to 1, or always increment I equal to 1 until this is met, right? So if I'm to run this, let me remove this for loop, right? If I run this, it will execute everything. So the target number was find index 3. So let's find out if it runs everything. So I'll just put print here, print when I is equal to I. So I'll put a format here. So if I run this, you can see when I equal to I dot 0, it does nothing. When I equal to 1, it does nothing. When I equal to 2, it does nothing. When I equal to 3, it does something. The target 77 was found index 3. So when I equal to 4, it does nothing. But if you use a break here, if you put a break, it skips when I equal to 4, right? So this is what happens. So they were just written what we did in for loop, we just done for the I while loop, right? So that is how it works. So we end this class here, right? So unless just if you have any question, feel free to contact me, right? You have my phone number, you can chat me on WhatsApp or you can send a mail. And thank you and God bless you.